Wir können dort fangen.
Oh, your cups are...
Shh. Okay.
I like that thing.
Where was I?
Okay. We are in Pasuk Yud Bet. No, actually no. Pasuk Yud Gimel, sorry. So Avner brought to David the opportunity to become the king of Israel. Not only the king of Judea, which he always received by his own people. And as we said, it came to David in a very convenient way, because Avner was a very powerful, charismatic, strong person. And as I said, to get the kingdom with not too many wars and resistance and being able, that's what was important to David, to be able to fulfill all the high wishes that Malchut Israel had, was an opportunity that came, I would say, almost unexpectedly, after the weakness of the son of Shaul, as we saw before. But David said, I have a condition here. Vayomer Tov, I agree, I accept. Ani echrot itcha brit. We are going to have a covenant between us. We are going to sign a contract here. אך דבר אחד אני שואל מאיתך לאמור. I really want to make sure that one condition is met. If you want to accept me and to join me, I ask only for one thing. לא תראה את פניי. You are not going to see me a second time, כי אם לפני אביך את מיכל בת שאול, בבואך לראות את פניי. Long time story. Remember Shaul, let's start with David. Shaul promised that the person who will kill Goliath, if anyone will be able to do so, will get Michal bat Shaul, his daughter, which means a lot, which means he's going to be part of the royal family. David did it. David actually was married to Michal. However, when tension increased, Michal chose between her husband and her father. And we saw something which is very, very interesting. Her father was Shaul himself. Shaul himself, yes. She made a decision. She made a decision, and that we saw the children of Shaul apparently were very much attached to him. Remember Jonathan, remember the Kina of David. He was like brother. They were the closest people. But when he had to make the decision between David, his very close friend, and his father, eventually he joined his father. And Michal apparently was not that different. They were attached to the Shaul, which was a great man, and I always emphasize again and again, he was a bad king, but he was a great man after all. And she was taken and given to Palti ben Laish, one of the high advisor, high-ranked people of Shaul. I told you then, although we never dipped into it, there was some halachic question about it. She was married to David, so how was it possible to get married to someone else? There is the problem of Eshet Ish. The Chachamim solved this problem. Unlike today, they had the ability and the means to solve even serious problems like this of Eshet Ish.
They solved it or they looked the other way?
I'm sorry?
They solved it or they looked the other way?
No, they looked at the other way and then solved it. It's going like this. You're right. Your question is a very profound one, because it has to come with an attitude. First of all, the question is, do you want to solve problems? Because you can bring all kinds of difficulties to solve any problem if you don't want to solve it. Then, I believe that what happened was, there was a problem, everyone knew about the problem. They wanted to solve it. They wanted to solve it. And they managed to solve it halachically, in a proper way. Yeah. In any way, this is not the topic tonight. It's a very difficult topic, and Chachamim themselves are like discussing it in length. Listen, this is not the question like if it's kosher or treif. You're talking here about the serious issue of eshet ish, eshet ish. And by the way, according to the Talmud, David himself, that was exactly the problem. David believed that halachically she's married to him. And it was inappropriate to give her to someone else. Shaul believed that she was not married to him in the first place. So it was kind of machloket. I'll give you one example. Remember what was like the naden David brought with him? He brought with him 100 orlot plishtim, the foreskin of the plishtim. So he went to a walk and came back with 100 orlot plishtim, or 200 actually. Shaul said 100, David gave him with interest, 200. So David said, she's married me. I actually acquired her properly. There was a kinyan here. Shaul said, no, what can you do with foreskins? What do you want me to do with it? It's like, of course, it doesn't worth a puda. So it's going to all these halachic issues that the Talmud deal with, but it might well be. I don't want to sound like Epicurus. It might be that when it comes to kings, their power sometimes, as we know, for example, to kill people, not according to the halacha. When a king kills a people who opposes him, he's not going to open the Rambam. He does not have to. He does not have to open the Shulchan Aruch. He does it because the king had unlimited rights, basically. And apparently, even when it comes to issues like this, they have their own Shulchan Aruch. What can I tell you? So, of course, the Talmud tried to apply it to our Shulchan Aruch, but apparently they have a slightly different Shulchan Aruch that allows them, especially in the issue of enforcement, when it comes to financial, when it comes to even life and death of people, they have their own rules, apparently. Anyway, David said to Avner, I want Michal back. Why? Why was it so important for him? The simple reason is, she was his wife. He loved her. She was taken unfairly. I'm sorry?
She was his first wife.
His first wife. You're right. His first wife. He wants her back. Okay. Okay. Of course, what can be another reason? After all, he married already 2 women. We just read in the Perek that he had not only Abigail and Achinoam, he had the bat of the king of Gshur. Since then, David did okay. He had few wives. Why does he need her back?
Wow, the same reason, exactly.
For the same reason. What does he say to him? לא תראה את פניי כי אם לפני אביך את מיכל בת שאול. Everyone knows who is Michal. What is Michal bat Shaul? I want the daughter of the king back. Because David is focused on one thing.
Peace.
He is coming the king of Israel. It's going to be very, very different when he had the daughter of the king of Israel, the previous one, his wife. This will help to unite the kingdom of Judea and Israel. So he talks to him clearly. You politically want to join me? Politically you have to help me. First thing, bring back Michal bat Shaul. He emphasized Michal bat Shaul. The Tanakh wants us to know why he wanted her so much. He recovered. He built a new family. He apparently did pretty well. But politically he needed this marriage to become again not only the new king, but the son-in-law of the king of Israel, the previous king of Israel. David is a mensch. You talk to generals, especially when they come and they want to have a covenant with you in one way, But there is a boss still. And the boss is not Avner. Yes, officially, he's the strongest person in the kingdom of Israel, but there is a king. There is a king yet. And the king is the son of Shaul, very weak. Remember last week, the Tanakh did not even release his name. Vayomer, it does not say, who say to Avner, why did you take the wife of my father? He's a very weak person, but he's still the king. And as I said before, even when Shaul lost it, David respected the fact that Hashem appointed a king. There is still a king of Israel, and normally, according to the law, the son inherits his father's position, and David wanted to keep clear the fact that he respects the son of Shaul. וישלח דוד מלאכים אל איש בושת בן שאול לאמור, נא את אשתי את מיכל אשר הרסתי לי ב100 עורלות פלישתים. What does he send to איש בושת? Send me Michal because she's mine. I paid for her kiddushin with 100 עורלות פלישתים, with the foreskins. She's mine. Now, you don't have to be extremely careful, reader, to see something very simple. He says to Avner one thing, he says to Ish-Boshet something very different. What is the claim he claimed to Avner? I want the daughter of Shaul. He does not say a word that she was Ishti. He does not speak about it. Because with Avner, he talks about the political side of this marriage. With Ish-Boshet, he said, listen, you are the son of your father. You belong to this family. She's your sister. Something wrong was done to me here. She was taken unfairly. So to you, if you want to fix your wrong doings of your father, please give her to me. So he speaks to each one on a different level. One he speaks politically, to another one he speaks morally. You have to return your sister to me. However, one thing is not mentioned. Critical reading always try to expose what is not written. He never said to anybody, I just love her, because he didn't. And we are going to speak about it in a second. Their relationship were problematic at the first place. Yes, she saved him once from Shaul. Remember when she let him go through the window a long time ago? But eventually, when her father took her from David, she did not join David. She stayed in the palace with her father. וישלח איש בושת. They listened to him. They agreed with him. ויקחיה מאם איש. He took her from her husband. מאם פלטיאל בן לאיש. Why the Tanakh repeated twice, מאם איש, מאם פלטיאל בן לאיש? Because there were two issues here. One was that even if he was her husband, they forced him to give her a get or to release her, because according to David she was married to him and not to the other guy. מאם פלטיאל בן לאיש. But he was also not only ish, he was a person, and a person with emotions, with pain, with love, with hate, a person. וילך איתה אישה. You don't say to the king no, but she was his wife, he loved her. וילך איתה אישה הלוך ובכו אחריה. עד בחורים. So he went from his house, which was not far away from Yerushalayim. Bachurim is the area of Har HaZeitim. Tzur Bacher, you know, like today, like the Palestinians of Mizrach Yerushalayim, lots of trouble. Tzur Bacher is Bachurim. It's a place of Bachurim. It's on the eastern southern side of Har HaZeitim. And he walks after her crying. ויאמר אליו אבנר, לך שוב. Up to here. That's it. Go back home. Vayashuv. Sad. Tragedy.
I mean, who is he saying go return? He's saying to David to go home, or he's
No,
telling him?
no, why to David?
I'm
No.
sorry, I don't know.
To the husband.
Vayelech ita isha, the husband goes with
The
her.
husband,
When they
okay.
arrive to Bahurim, which is quite close to Ir David, you know, think about it.
Yes.
Bahurim is Har HaZeitim, you cross a valley and you are in Ir David, right? If you
Right.
were in Yerushalayim, in Ir David, you know, you
Wasn't
go
he-
down
Down and
to
up.
But he
Har
was-
HaZeitim, down and up.
But wasn't he in Hebron still? Wasn't he still in Hebron?
Well, when they
I'm not
arrived to
asking any more
Bahurim,
questions.
at this point, yeah, David did not have the hill David, but apparently this was the city, and he said to him, up to here, that's it, shalom, go back home. He lived, as I said, apparently the
Abner
Givat
was
Shaul,
tough guy.
he was the son-in-law in a way of the king, so they were in Givat Shaul, in Givat Zev. Okay, I really want to talk about it a little bit. Why the Tanakh, the Navi, is telling us this story? That he was crying. I mean, this is not the important part of the story. The important part of the story is that Michal was returned to David. So this is nice, but this is not a Hollywood movie, like to tell us that their husband like was crying. Why do we care? I mean, we care. It's really very like it's touching our heart. But what is the purpose of the Tanakh? What did the Tanakh try to do here?
Well, did David know that she's married to Laish?
He
course
knows,
he
he
knew.
knows, he knows, yes, it was well known. But again, as I said, he believed that she is not really, halachically, not the wife of Palti ben Laish. He thinks that Shaul did something against the halacha when he gave her to Palti ben Laish. And according to Chachamim, by the way, they never had relation, so she was not prohibited to David. It's a whole halachic discussion in Masechet Kiddushin. We are not going to get into it, but halachically, somehow Chachamim solved the problems. Let's put it this way. Solved the halachic problems of this story. But what is the purpose of the Tanakh when he...
He showed his humanity.
Nachon,
He didn't have the power to do anything again.
it's very, very true. It's very true. In other words, the Tanakh want to raise our sympathy with Palti ben Laish. This is a way to show how cruel sometimes
That's what I was thinking.
kings and the people of authority can be. It was cruel. It was needed, as I say, David thought, and rightfully so, that bringing back Michal is going to help him to be the king. But sometimes in a situation like this, you forget the people. You understand? It's always the big discussion between like the human rights, human rights.
So this
She
is
was married, her husband was happy with her, and at the same time the king needed for his purposes, for his political purposes. And I think that the Tanakh want to give us...
But this isn't the first time. I mean, later on, David did it again. I mean, it's not like, you know, he had him.
Is it possible that,
Yeah,
I mean, you're
right.
saying that this is to have some sympathy for Paltiel.
Palti ben Laish.
I think it's actually to tell you that David is turning a corner. He's going to be as miserable king as everyone else.
What do you mean?
The other king didn't care. He killed people whenever he wanted. And he's the new king. I'm going to take women whenever I want. I'll do whatever I want. I think there's turning a corner. Before you always thought he was a nice guy. I don't think so anymore.
Well,
You might be right.
it's ruthless now.
You might be right, and I want to share with you another story that we didn't learn, but it might be, in a way, supporting your idea. That indeed, in this story, David is turning a corner. When Absalom, the son of David, rebelled against him, and David has to leave Jerusalem because he is afraid that Absalom is going to kill him. We are going to learn it in a few weeks or months actually. There is another guy over there. His name is Shimei ben Gera. Shimei ben Gera was a person who was very, very loyal to Beit Shaul and very angry with David. And when David left Jerusalem, running to the desert, away from Absalom, Shimei decided at this point to take full revenge of David. He throws stones after him, and he rebuked David. Tzeh ish adamim, you should leave Yerushalayim, the person of blood. And he goes and stones David, who is now in a very weak position, until he leaves Yerushalayim. The people of David tried to kill him, and David said, if not Hashem allow him to curse me, he would not do it. So leave him alone, don't do anything to him. Interestingly enough, Shimei ben Geira, in Perek Chafei, if you want to read the whole story, in Shmuel Bet, walks until the place that is named Bachurim. Shimei ben Geira, the Tanakh is telling us, he goes after David. David, now leave Ir David, where he lived, and goes to the desert, to the, you know, from Ir David you go to Nachal Kidron, and from there to the Judean desert. And Shimei ben Geira accompany him when he's in the ravine, he's a little bit upper and throws stones after him. And he said he did so until they arrived to Bachurim. There is, I think one of the Mefarshim says, there is a connection between the two. This behavior of David had to be repaid. Yes, maybe he needed it for his kingdom. But the king of Israel had to think about human rights too, about the feelings of other people. And this was not the right thing to do. Yes, he started to behave like a true king who does whatever he wants and whatever he understands supposed to help him, but not the king of Israel. The kings of Israel have to have this sensitivity to the suffering of one human being. And the Tanakh is telling us that this happened at Bachurim, this crying happened at Bachurim, and David was stoned later at Bachurim. To make the story now like closing a circle. A suffering of a human being does not go away, period. You know, there is a beautiful midrash. It said when Yaakov took the brachot from Esav, and Esav realized it, it says, Vayitzak tzeaka gdola umara. He screamed loudly and bitterly. Chachamim say, we find one more time this expression, exactly the same expression. Where? In Shushan, when Achashverosh and Haman decreed to kill all the Jews, Mordechai goes to Shushan, Vayizak zeaka gdola umara. Hashem paid Esav with now his son, Haman, who came from Agag, who came from Amalek, who came from Esav, that now the descendant of Yaakov, he is now crying Zaka Gdola Umara. The idea is very, very simple. Well, did Yaakov has to do what he did? The answer is yes. The brachot belong to Yaakov. But you never escape the suffering you caused another person, even if you did it for the right reason. Chachamim always telling us the power of tear, the power of suffering never disappeared, always come back, which is a terrible thought. Because sometimes we have to do certain things, but we should know. We hurt someone, somehow, some way, and the boomerang is going to come back. So, this is one of these lessons. You know, he took care, maybe he had to do it, but someone was crying. These cries, these tears, turn to be stones later against David himself. Pasuk Yud Udvar Avner, okay, they had now a covenant. Avner bring the Naden, the entire nation, Now he has to do something about it because he didn't talk to the people yet. He just promised it to David. This is one thing. He gave him a check, but now it's time to get the transfer, to the account. ודבר אבנר היה עם זקני ישראל לאמור. גם תמול, yesterday, גם שלשום, yesterday, הייתם מבקשים את דוד למלך עליכם. You wanted David all the time. ועתה עשו. And now it's time to fulfill this wish. כי השם אמר אל דוד לאמור, ביד דוד עבדי הושיע את עמי ישראל מיד פלישתים ומיד כל אויביהם. He is the man. He is the person that already proved in the war against Goliath, and he is the person who is going to fight our wars. He is the person. And I want to stop here for a second. What does this say basically? First of all, you can see how he turned right away from being the enemy of David. In a second, he became his greatest supporter and fan. What does that say about the person? By the way, why do you think Avner is doing all this?
Wants to have your
With no question, Avner was a sharp guy. We said it a few times. Although the Tanakh never told us, it's quite clear what is going to happen here. What do you think? That he's going to bring all the people to David, and David is going to say, thank you very much, go home? In this Brit, there are all kinds of conditions. Two sides bringing their lawyers, and they sit on the contract. And have no doubt about it, that David promised Avner that he will get something in return. He was a Sar Tzava of Israel. Israel are much bigger than the kingdom of Judea. He will be the Sar Tzava of David. I think it's a good deal, by the way, because Avner is very, very powerful, very skilled, and he brings Klal Israel. It's good to have a person that is trusted by the rest of the nation, and for David it was a good deal. Okay, no one said it in the Psukim, but we can assume that something along this line, when you do Brit, every Brit means I give that, you give that. We don't know what David promised, but it's quite easy, and we are going to prove it in few Psukim, that everyone understood that David promised him something. Before any election, that when a person said, you know what, I'm going to join your party, the next thing you know, that he got like a promise to be like the Sar HaChutz, Sar HaBitachon, whatever it is, at least in Israel, but I believe that everywhere. And, before you join forces with someone else, you want to know what am I going to get in return. But I think that you see here something very, very interesting. What does it say to Ziknei Israel? Let's analyze what does it say. You wanted David already long time ago. Now it's the time to make it happen. What does that mean?
He's giving them what they wanted.
Right. And why it didn't happen if they wanted it? Avner said, I know you guys, I heard it long time ago that you actually want to be under the kingdom of David. So why it didn't happen? What's the problem? David wanted them with him.
Did they ever say it?
Here we hear that they wanted it. Listen, if Avner called the Knesset Israel and say, guys, I know for weeks, for months, for years, you want David to be your king. Remember, David already more than 7 years in Hebron. We don't know exactly what happened in Israel. We just know that the son of Shaul continued somehow. He was with Avner for 7 years. Now we are even more than 7 years. So if they wanted, which we hear for the first time, that actually the Zkenim, the elders, wanted David, so why it didn't happen?
He had the power.
I'm sorry?
He had the power.
And therefore, he didn't want it to happen. Avner is telling us something very important here. That the only reason that it didn't happen before is because he did not want it to happen. And now we say, listen, the politics have changed. I find myself in a different situation. Now it's the time to go with David. After I got what I wanted, after all the political situation ripe to the point that I can join forces with David, but we hear what kind of person he was, Avner.
Scheming.
There was
He was cunning.
cunning, I would say even more than that. Listen, he was a person that what we hear here, that for years he was responsible for the split. And who do we hear it from? Not from me. We hear it from him. Because he said to them, you wanted it all the time. What does that mean? If they wanted him, then why not? The answer is because I didn't let you. I wanted to continue the Malchut of Shaul. He admits it. But as I said, politicians are politicians, and it's a great lesson to all politicians how you work. First of all, he said, okay, the time is ripe, we can join forces with David, and actually the bait is wars. Always kings, especially the people of, remember, they suffered enormously from the last defeat against the Plishtim. The only person who can fight back against Plishtim is David. The only reason he didn't fight them because he had to run away from Shaul. But they knew that the only person of the nation who can fight the Plishtim was David. He had a proof. He already fought them. The only reason they lost, David was not around. Okay, these are the tribes of Israel. It's not over yet. Now it's going to the hard nut. Is going to the people of Binyamin, the Shevet of Shaul himself. It's easy to convince Reuven and to convince Levi and convince Shimon. This is the easy work. But apparently there was a hard a nucleus of people that did not want David. They were still loyal to Shaul. They were the people of Binyamin. I can assume also that they enjoyed much of the benefits of the king from this tribe. וידבר גם אבנר באוזני בנימין. So after he finished with all the tribes, he's going to talk to the people of Binyamin. וילך גם אבנר לדבר באוזני דוד בחברון. And after he finished with them, and apparently they accepted it, he goes back to talk to David. את כל אשר טוב בעיני ישראל ובעיני כל בית בנימין. See, the Tanakh is telling us in few words that there were few issues. Bnei Israel first, then the Shevet of Shaul. It was not easy. He managed to do so. ויבוא אבנר אל דוד חברון. And now, after David accepted it, already his wife was with מיכל was with דוד. ויבוא אבנר אל דוד חברון ואיתו 20 אנשים, 20 people. ויעש דוד לאבנר ולאנשים אשר איתו משתה. For what? What is the משתה for? Because now they are going to sign the deed. So you make a nice party before, like a nice dinner, lunch, whatever it is, and then everyone takes the pen and sign the contract. By the way, I thought about it. He came with 20 people. Why is it important to mention 20 people? He came with people. I care if it was 21, it would make a big difference. 19 would make a big difference. Why the Tanakh mentioned that he came with 20 people? Remember the story of the war of the soldiers of David, Yoav, against the soldiers of Avner. Avner, how many people were killed? 360. From the people of David, how many people were killed? 19 plus Asael. Right? The Tanakh is telling us it was 19 people, but there was another person that you don't count with the 19. This is Asael. He was the 20th person. And it might be that it was symbolic, like the people that you lost, I bring you now 20 people instead. Maybe, I don't know. ויצא אבנר אל דוד, ויאמר אבנר אל דוד, עם פסוק כ"א, אקומה ואלך, ואקבצה אל אדוני המלך את כל ישראל. So now it was just like the Rashi Tevot, how do you call it, like the outline, the first agreement before you do the big one. There is a preliminary agreement.
Agreement in principle.
Letter of intent. Yeah, letter of intent. Yeah. So so this was the first letter, but now we want to bring all the people, all the elders of the tribes to make like a real party and a real ceremony. ויאמר אבנר אל דוד הקומה ואלך והקבצה אל אדוני המלך את כל ישראל ויכרתו איתך ברית ומלכת בכל אשר תאווה נפשך. Now you are free to reign over the entire nation. וישלח דוד את אבנר וילך בשלום. Keep going. בשלום. Everything was fine. All the tensions of the past were resolved. But something is happening here. והנה עבדי דוד ויואב בא מהגדוד, the people of David, and Yoav, the chief of staff, they come from the gdud, from a war. They patrolled along the borders, and they come from one of the wars, ושלל רב עמם. They were successful, they brought with them lots of goods from the war. ואבנר איננו עם דוד בחברון. Avner was not there anymore because he left חברון, כי שילחו, because the king sent him away. וילך בשלום. It's the second time that the pasuk ends with the words וילך בשלום. The previous pasuk, because it's important to say, in order to understand what happened later, that there was zero tension after the meeting between Avner and David. The moment that Avner understood that the chance to keep the flame of Beit Shaul alive is gone, he immediately changes sides and he did tshuva in a way. He understands, he came to a conclusion that he cannot continue it, and he became part of the new kingdom. ויואב וכל הצבא אשר איתו באו. So they come closer to Hebron, to the palace. ויגידו ליואב לאמור, בא אבנר בנר אל המלך, וישלחהו וילך בשלום. Third time. וישלחהו וילך בשלום. And these people comes to Yoav and tell him what happened. Yoav is not stupid. Yoav understands right away what's going on. What do you think was the first thought of Yoav? The first.
That he's with David.
He was upset.
And therefore what?
His brother.
What?
His brother, I don't think he thought about
His brother. We are going to speak about his brother in a second. But Yoav is a very powerful person.
He's going to be
What?
That his position will be that he will not have his position.
If Avner is the new chief of staff after this covenant, so someone is going to pay with his own job. If you have a new, whatever it is, CEO, the old CEO is going home. That's how it works.
Good severance.
I'm sorry?
Good severance pay.
Well, I don't know if they have this golden parachute then. You know, normally, if they don't need you, they cut off your head. This was a better solution. No one had money to pay severance. You know, it was not like public companies that take their money from the public. They had to pay for the severance, and therefore it's much easier to get rid of the person in more, I would say, easy way than payment. So
usually when the CEO goes, a few others go as well.
it's very true. We spoke about it many times that this was a big fear of Yonatan even himself, that once Shaul is going away, his father is going away, he will go with him. And this was a big fear. And wait to Perek Dalet, we are going to see something around these lines, you're right. So the Tanakh does not say that, because the Tanakh is a master of you, the reader, think a little bit about this situation. And it is quite a tough situation. You know what happened when you do a merger, you had someone in the company for many, many years, he's very, very good, but the merger requires, a part of the agreement is that the other guy, the CEO of the other company, is going to be now the CEO of the entire company. So you as the king, you must consider your options and what is best to you and the company. But we can understand how people take it very, very hard to their heart, especially very devoted. Yoav was so devoted to David. And I don't know what you think about David. Should David maybe like send someone to say to Yoav, you should know Avner was with me, I spoke to him, you have nothing to worry about? Maybe he could not say it. Maybe the worry was justified. But David, we are going to see his behaviors with, okay, something here went wrong, and we are going to see. ויאמר יואב, ויבוא יואב אל המלך, ויאמר, מה עשית? הנה בא אבנר אליך, למה זה שילחתו, ויהיה לך לוך? What? Your greatest enemy visited you, and you let him go בשלום? ידעת את אבנר בן נר, you know this guy. כי לפתותך בא. Do you think that he won't really shalom with you? We want just to see where you live, where your house, how many rooms you have, where do you sleep, and next night he knows perfectly, this is like מודיעין, the intelligence from the place itself. ולדעת את מוצאך ואת מובאיך, ולדעת את כל אשר אתה עושה. So what basically he said? He doesn't say, hey, wait, what am I going to be with my job? He does not say that. What these people are saying, what are you crazy? It's not good for the company. I care about myself. I don't care. But the company, how can you give him to be the CEO? And therefore, Yoav played the game. And you know, again, I don't want to say anything bad about Yoav. We can fully understand where he comes from. And maybe, you know what, knowing Avner, who was not an easy guy, Yoav had the right to be suspicious. After all, he the person that still responsible for the life of the king. He the head of the security, the head of the army, and he has full right to say that. And you know what? People sometimes have their own agendas. They are very good in disguising them in good intentions. And indeed, someone here already said that there was another intention to be hurt. They had a family account with Avner still open. Avner killed Asahel, the brother. But again, people don't talk about their weaknesses. They talk about like humanity. What will happen with the kingdom? What will happen with the king? But in their heart, they think about their agendas and their issues. ויצא יואב עם דוד, וישלח מלאכים אחרי אבנר. He calls Avner back. וישיבו אותו מבור הסירה. He arrived to a place, בור הסירה, ודוד לא ידע. David did not know what happened here. He finished the discussion, the heated discussion with Yoav, and he knows nothing that happened later. Vayashov Avner Hebron, he believed that, the king is calling him back. Everything, he had no reason to be suspicious. Vayateu Yoav el toch hashar ledaber ito. He says to him, I want to talk to you for a second. Basheli. Sheli in Hebrew is ashlaya. Ashlaya means illusion. Illusion. Ashlaya like giving a person a hope, a false hope. So Basheli means like, some people explain it Beshalom, some people say Be'ashlaya, like he gave him the impression that there is nothing to worry about. Vayakeu Shama Chomesh. When he came to talk to him, he apparently said, I have to say something to you, and hold him, and with a sword to the Chomesh. Remember who killed, by the way, in the Chomesh? It was
Yes.
Avner who
Yeah,
killed
yeah,
Asael,
yeah.
their brother, in the Chomesh,
Yes.
which means
Yes.
around the fifth ribs, where the fifth and the fourth and the sixth rib, where the heart is. Vayamot bedam Asael achiv. Why he killed him?
For his
To take
brother.
revenge because Asael. So the Tanakh itself is telling us it was not about David and the care about the kingdom. First of all, he still had this simple revenge for what Avner did to his brother. Now, let's stop here for a second and let's think what happened. Let's say,
But there's no retribution here, because, I mean, if he did it, he did it. But the only one that can do anything then would be David. Because who else is going to be able to you know, so he's got to be the judge, and he's got to be the judge and the jury.
I want
'Cause there
to
isn't.
support your point, because before I'm going to talk about it, let's indeed see Pasuk Lamed. In Pasuk Lamed, the Tanakh repeat again what happened here. Ve'Yoav ve'Avishai achiv. Apparently Avishai was hiding somewhere to make sure that if Yoav and Avner are getting into fight, he will come and help Yoav. Hargu le'Avner. Asher emit et Asael achiem. So first of all, there was nothing about David and his kingdom and to secure David here. It was about Asael achiem begiv'on b'milchama. The Tanakh say, then you should know that Asael, there was no reason now to take retribution, because it was b'milchama. We all read the story between Avner and Asael. Avner tried to tell Asael, leave me. I don't want to kill you. It was really in this story between Asael and Avner. Avner was a tzaddik, Asael was a rodef. And the Tanakh said, he fall not because Avner wanted to kill him, it was a milchama. Avner had no choice. But for Abishai and Yoav, killing Avner was about their brother, nothing about their patriotic words, Asher yeda motza'acha u'mevo'acha. When they killed him, they had a completely different intention. Now, let's try to think what happened in the first half an hour, day after killing Avner. Let's say that the news arrived to a place like Giv'on, which is not far away from Yerushalayim. I'm sure that in 2-3 hours everyone in Giv'on knew about it. To a place, Ramah, which is in the Ramot of today, not far away, 2 hours, they know about it. What people think? What would you think here?
You think David?
What's going
You think that David was behind it?
100%.
You think that David can't be respected, can't be trusted, and this
Exactly.
could set back this whole idea of bringing the tribes
Exactly. You just read exactly everything that should be said about this parak. For David, it was a disaster. A disaster. All the dreams that he's going to unite the people without one bullet, not only is not going to achieve it because there was a guarantor to all this. This was the power of Avner. Avner is the one who is going to make the Shivtei Israel and especially the Shevet of Binyamin with David. He lost him. That's to start with. But not only lost him. Every person with his right mind, you don't need here too many conspiracies. People don't know exactly what David say to Yoav. If he say to him, you know what? We all going to ambush Avner. I tricked him unbelievably, and he was smart. The people of Israel will come and say, this was an ambush. This was the worst thing we ever saw. Such a cruel thing from David HaMelech, who cheated Avner, gave him the impression that he want to make peace with him, only to kill him few hours later. All the achievements of David are gone. Not only that, he put himself in enormous danger because Avner was the most powerful person in the 10 tribes and especially in the Shevet of Binyamin. And David, yes.
Sorry. But David could have diffused
the situation with Yoav when he saw how upset he was, and it seems like he made no attempt to, like, get lost.
Very, very soon. I don't have to come anymore. Like you guys already got the picture. It's good. I feel very good. Like when the people, your students, understand before you say it, what's the point is. You are absolutely right. We are going to discuss it at the end of the verse. What was the contribution of David to the whole story? Because eventually, David got it back. But at this point, it's a very profound, important comment, but we will have to keep it for a while. Because right now we deal with Yoav and Avner, then we will see what was the contribution of David to this and why it happened. So David finds himself in the worst situation, I think, in a crisis moment where everything that he achieved so far is actually collapsed. וישמע דוד מאחרי כן, ויאמר נקי אנוכי וממלכתי מעם השם עד עולם, מדמי אבנר בן נר. What a person in a situation like this can do. So first of all, he wants the people around him to know, I had no part in it. It's not enough, it's nothing. Who will believe him? First of all, he cares Yoav in the worst cares. ויחולו על ראש יואב. By the way, he was his cousin, remember, right? יחולו על ראש יואב ועל כל בית אביו, which is also the house of David himself. ואל יכרת מבית יואב. I wish that in the house of Yoav there will be always people who are zavim, which have all kind of discharges, ומצורע, with leprosy, ומחזיק בפלך, people who cannot work in anything more than doing threads, ונופל בחרב, people who are going to die young as warriors, וחסר לחם. This is the worst curse. And by the way, Chachamim say that he was completely wrong by doing it.
This was his
What?
general. This was his general. This was his Sar Tzava. Now he lost two
Chachamim
Sar
say
Tzavas.
that David, your Sar Tzava, and you know what, sometimes it happens, someone very close to you do something that really enraged you unbelievably. In one moment, David forgot all the contribution of Yoav to David. So yes, David had a full right to be so upset. But your people are doing mistakes. If you are a real boss, you somehow know how to, not to accept it, but you cannot turn against them in such a terrible way. And Chachamim say that eventually, all these klalot turn back to the house of David. And they say that 4 kings, each one of them, from the descendants of David, got one of these curses for himself. We are going to talk about it later. However, David now had a problem, and maybe a political problem, greater than all his enemies before. I'm telling you clearly that his life were in danger. Because, listen, people must, how is it possible that the king don't control his people? I want to remind you something very important, which somehow is like this. Remember the first Lebanon War, Sabra v'Shatila. In Sabra v'Shatila, Sharon said, it's not my fault. Like the Goyim are killing Goyim and you blame the Jews. Begin said, it's not my fault, Arik Sharon did it. The word said, מה אתם אומרים שטויות? He's your general, these people are under your command, you are responsible. That's how it works. And Sabra v'Shatila became a disaster to Israel. And that's exactly what, this was the Sabra v'Shatila of David. We don't care, it's your general, we are sure 100% that you knew, or at least you told him, listen, I'm not going to make a big fuss if you are going to kill them. What apparently happened between Sharon and the Falangot of Jubril, if you still remember it. But the world cannot accept it. The people of Avner cannot accept it. That's it. That's how it works. What does it mean? It's like Israel say to the Hamas, What are you telling us that in Gaza there is a group like this, you don't control them? You are the people in control. They fire a rocket, you are going to get the punishment. It's simple as it is. So David is in a point where he have to take this enormous crisis, maybe the most severe crisis that he ever experienced, because I told you many, many times, it's one issue to have troubles with the goyim. When you have troubles with your friends and your own nation, with the Jews, this is really hard. Because the Jewish people are strong and they demand explanation. They don't let the situation just to go like this and that's it. So David must do something to convince everyone that indeed he had nothing to do with it. ויואב ואבישי אחיו הרגו לאבנר על אשר המית את עשרה לכם בגבעון במלחמה, ויאמר דוד אל יואב ואל כל העם אשר איתו, קרעו בגדיכם, he says to Yoav, you yourself, you are going to show that it was a terrible mistake to kill Avner. קרעו בגדיכם, it's אבלות, וחיגרו סכין, the highest degree of mourning. וסיפדו לפני אבנר, והמלך דוד הולך אחרי המיטה. Now you should know, according to the halacha, a king never go after a bed of another person. It's not up to his status. Because you go to a funeral to respect the dead person, the king gives zero respect to everyone under him. Everyone has to respect him. However, in this situation, again, David stepped beyond the halacha, actually violated the halacha, and he shows respect to Avner going after his bed, after his coffin. And he the first one to go after the bed. ויקברו את אבנר בחברון. He, David HaMelech said, he is a national, he buried him in Hebron because now Hebron is a city that is the place of the king. You know what is Har Herzl, why it's in Yerushalayim, why the national cemetery for the Chayalim is in Har Herzl in Yerushalayim? Because you want to show this Chayal is not a private person. He failed for the nation. And he put him in Hebron, not bringing him back to Giv'on or to one of the Arim of Bnei Binyamin, because now he's a national hero. Avner is not a private person anymore, belonged to one tribe. He was an important part of the new kingdom, and therefore he's going to be buried in the cemetery of the capital, in Hebron. וישא המלך את קולו, ויבק אל קבר אבנר ויבכו כל העם. He was crying, and sincerely, and all the nation with him. David managed to turn it to a national catastrophe and to national disaster and to national eulogy. It was not something between him and Avner, between him and Shaul. The death of Avner became a national issue. ויקונן המלך אל אבנר, ויאמר, הכמות נבל ימות אבנר. How is it possible that he died in such a terrible way? ידיך לא אסורות. It was not that someone took you in captivity. ורגליך לא לנחושתיים, הוגשו. כנפול לפני בני עוולה נפלת. Your death is the worst death. I wish it to nobody, and you fall לפני בני עוולה. When Yoav is still there around David, he hears it. ויוסיפו כל העם לבכות עליו. ויבוא כל העם להברות את דוד לחם. The minhag of Avelim is that they do Sudat Avelim. Who bring it? The friends. And here's something quite amazing happened. The people that were supposed to kill David and to just being disgusted by what he did to Avner, they were convinced that indeed it was an accident. David did not know anything about it, and they became friends of David to allow him to know that this is not going to take his malchut away. וישבע דוד לאמור, כה יעשה לי אלוהים וכה יוסיף, כי אם לפני בוא השמש אתם לחם או כל מומה. I'm not going to eat today. Which shows again his sincerity about the death of Avner. It's interesting, in the Talmud it said, ויבוא כל העם לעברות את דוד לחם.
So what is it? Is this because he understood the people, he understood the feelings of the people, and knew where they would accept sincerity versus just a show.
Absolutely. And what he did in this day apparently was so convincing that people understood that it's real. It's not just a atzaga to show how much he's sorry and tomorrow business as usual. David was shocked by this death. And we are going to see that David also understood something very important. When you people can do something like this, you are not secure 100%. Because people like this who run their own agendas and putting in risk, and Yoav did exactly what will happen. He was not stupid. He understood that it will put David in a very bad light. David was very, very concerned about it. He must make sure that the people understand that it was not him. It was not about him. And it wasn't easy. We are going to see the rest of it, B'ezrat Hashem, next week. But as I said, David was a very unique person. No one else, I think, would be able to get somehow over a situation like this. Here is Perek Daled, so let's just keep it for next time. It's only one page.
You want to finish these 4 psukim?
Yeah, next week we will finish the 4 psukim, because I want to talk about the issue that she raised. What was the contribution of David? Why David felt so terrible about it? So we will see it next time, B'ezrat Hashem. So this is Perek Dalet. Can we keep it for next time, B'ezrat Hashem? Okay. It's here. Shkoyach to you.
It won't be here. Why not? Leave Tuesday. Okay.
I won't get there for the wedding.